Once upon a sunny morning in Clover Valley, a tiny bumblebee named Benny Bumble buzzed out of his hive, his heart filled with excitement. While all the other bees were busy collecting nectar from the flowers nearby, Benny dreamed of big adventures. He had heard the old legends of a magical golden flower, one that shone brighter than the sun and grew on the very top of Rainbow Hill. The older, wiser bees would often chuckle and say it was just a story. But Benny Bumble, he believed it was real. One day he would buzz to himself, "I'll find that flower and bring its golden pollen home for everyone." And on this particular sunny morning, Benny decided that one day was today. With a brave little buzz that hummed with determination, he prepared to begin his journey. Just as he was about to set off, a friendly voice called out, "Where are you off to, Benny Bumble?" It was Bella Butterfly, her colorful wings fluttering gently in the breeze. "I'm going to find the golden flower," Benny announced proudly, puffing out his chest. Bella gasped, her wings pausing mid-flutter. "But that's so far away. To get there, you'll have to cross the windy woods, wade through the muddy marsh, and then climb all the way up Rainbow Hill." "I'm ready for anything," Benny said, his little wings humming with a confident tune. Bella looked at her small, determined friend and smiled. She carefully plucked a soft, velvety bluebell petal and handed it to him. "Keep this close, Benny," she said softly. "It will remind you of home if you ever feel scared or lonely." Benny tucked the petal safely away. "Thank you, Bella Butterfly." He buzzed gratefully, and with that he flew high into the bright blue sky, a tiny speck of black and yellow against the vastness, ready for his grand adventure. His first challenge was the windy woods. As Benny Bumble approached, he saw tall trees swaying back and forth, their leaves swirling in a chaotic dance. The wind whistled a spooky tune through the branches. Easy peasy, he buzzed to himself, trying to sound braver than he felt. But just as he flew past a giant oak, a huge, powerful gust of wind swept him off course. "Whoa!" cried Benny, tumbling through the air like a fallen leaf before landing with a soft plop on a wide green leaf below. He shook his head, a little dizzy. Suddenly, a friendly face appeared from behind a spotted mushroom. A green frog with big, curious eyes hopped out. "Hello there, little bee. I'm Freddie Frog. It's a bit blustery in these woods today, isn't it? Where are you off to in such a hurry?" Benny straightened his antennae. "I'm Benny Bumble, and I'm on my way to find the golden flower." Freddie let out a low, rumbling chuckle. "Well, that's a very brave quest. The wind can be tricky. Here, hop on my back. I'll give you a ride and get you through the woods safely." Benny gratefully accepted. Holding tight to Freddie's smooth, cool back, he was bounced and hopped safely through the twisting paths of the windy woods, dodging swirling leaves and swaying branches. Before he knew it, they had reached the other side. "Thank you so much, Freddie Frog," Benny buzzed, hopping off. "Good luck on your adventure, brave bee." Freddie replied with a cheerful ribbit before hopping back into the woods. One obstacle down, two to go. Next, Benny Bumble arrived at the edge of the muddy marsh. The air was thick and heavy, and the ground beneath him squelched with every step. "Yuck!" he groaned, looking at the vast expanse of gooey mud and murky water. "How will I ever get across this sticky mess?" He tried to fly, but the air was too damp, and his wings felt heavy. Just as he was starting to feel discouraged, a tall, elegant flamingo stepped gracefully out of the water. "Hello, little Buzz," she said in a kind, gentle voice. "I'm Fiona Flamingo. What brings a little fellow like you all the way to this marsh?" Benny's spirits lifted. "I'm Benny Bumble, and I'm looking for the golden flower on top of Rainbow Hill." "Ah, a traveler on a noble quest," Fiona said with a warm smile. "The marsh can be quite tricky. Why don't you hop on my beak? I'll help you cross." Benny buzzed happily and landed on her long pink beak. Fiona stepped carefully and deliberately through the marsh, her long legs moving with incredible grace. They passed shimmering dragonflies, listened to the chorus of croaking frogs, and watched as ripples on the water shimmered like tiny, fleeting rainbows. When they safely reached the other side, Benny buzzed with gratitude. "Thank you, Miss Flamingo. You're so graceful." Fiona smiled kindly. "Remember, little one," she advised, "grace and patience can help you get through many difficult places." Benny Bumble nodded, taking her words to heart. He gave one last wave to his new friend and flew off with renewed energy toward the colorful hill he could now see clearly in the distance. Finally, Benny Bumble arrived at the base of Rainbow Hill. It was even more beautiful up close than he had ever imagined. The entire hill glowed with vibrant stripes of red, orange, yellow, green and blue it was truly the most magical place he had ever seen. But his wonder was mixed with a new wave of exhaustion. The climb looked steep, and his little wings were so tired from his long journey. He took a deep breath. "I can do this," he whispered to himself, remembering his friends and his mission. A brave bee never gives up. He began to fly upwards, battling against the wind that pushed against him, trying to send him back down. It was harder than crossing the woods or the marsh. "Don't stop now, Benny Bumble," he buzzed, flapping his wings with every last bit of strength he had. Up and up he went, past the red band, through the orange, and over the yellow. At last, with one final mighty push, he reached the very top of the hill. He landed, panting, and when he looked up, he gasped. There it was, the golden flower. It was more real and more magnificent than any legend could describe. Its petals glowed with the light of 1,000 suns, and the air around it shimmered with a fine, sparkling golden dust. "Wow," Benny whispered in absolute awe, landing softly on one of its radiant petals. "You're real." He felt a sense of peace and wonder wash over him. Carefully, he began to collect some of the precious golden pollen into his leg basket. As he did, the flower seemed to glow even brighter. Then a gentle voice, as soft as the rustling of leaves, whispered from the flower's petals. Brave little Benny Bumble, your courage and kind heart brought you here. You have earned this prize. But remember, the greatest and most wonderful treasures are the ones that are meant to be shared. Benny looked at the glowing pollen he had collected and smiled. He understood it. He promised the flower, I'll share it with everyone back home. When Benny Bumble finally returned to Clover Valley, his wings tired but his heart full, all the bees buzzed out of the hive in surprise and excitement. Benny's back, they cheered. Benny, you're home. Bella Butterfly fluttered over, her eyes wide with joy. Did you find it? Did you really find the golden flower? Benny Bumble nodded proudly. He opened his pollen basket and showed them the shimmering, golden pollen he had brought back. As he shook it out, the entire hive began to sparkle as the magical golden dust filled the air, catching the light in a dazzling display. You really found it. The other bees cried in amazement. Yes, said Benny Bumble, looking at all of his friends gathered around. But I couldn't have done it all by myself. I had help from my wonderful new friends. Freddie the Frog and Fiona the Flamingo Ant, the golden flower taught me something very important. He looked around at all the smiling, happy faces and said, the greatest treasures are always meant to be shared. And so Benny Bumble and all his friends worked together, spreading the magical golden pollen all across Clover Valley. Soon the meadows began to transform. The flowers glowed in every color of the rainbow, and the fields sparkled with joy and magic. From that day on, Benny Bumble was known not just as Benny, but as Benny the Brave, the little bee with the biggest heart in the whole valley. And his story reminds us all that with courage, a little help from our friends, and a kind heart ready to share, we can make the world around us a much brighter and more magical place. Thank you so much for joining Benny on his incredible journey today. If you loved this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more wonderful adventures. We'll see you next time.